Good morning. It is Thursday, almost the end of the week. And today's topic, I think, is going to be something I don't normally like to do. Spurred on by Orion Okaba earlier in the week, obviously not later, and his confessions on everything that's happened in his life recently and how he's had to deal with it. Nothing that dramatic, believe me, but it takes a lot to get me to say anything. So, and spurred on by a conversation, or a rant rather, that I had in my gaming group's chat last night. I thought maybe it's just time to actually say how things are and talk about how I plan to get through it. Now, many of you may not be aware, but I have a fairly complicated life. My wife is a double amputee in a wheelchair. Has been for a long time. That's nothing new. But it does add an extra layer of confusion to some things. In the last couple of years, Joanne has lost both of her parents, who lived with us, so that was quite a loss for myself, as well as for Joanne. Things at work over the last year have been dicey. I would say I'm fairly good at my job. I'm fairly happy in my job for the most part. But my boss got a promotion, and the person they brought in to replace him was a complete knob and made all of our lives hell. And got to the point that on a daily basis, as he walked into the office, I considered just standing up and going home and not coming back to work. It was bad for a number of months. Now, luckily, he has now left the company, and we actually now split level report to my old boss, even though he's had a promotion. So that's great. Things are improving there. But it is still a stressful job. I work in IT within a finance company, and things go wrong, and they get put on my plate to deal with them, and they involve, in some cases, a lot of money. And that adds a pressure to the work that you're doing. We've had a couple recently that I can't really disclose specifics, but have been especially stressful. So all of that has kind of been building up. I also have 2 dogs, one of them a new puppy. So that adds a layer of stress of getting woke up at 3 a.m. because she needs to go out. Or having to deal with the fact that she's pierced the other dog's cheek while playing, and now he's got a sore that we're having to make sure we keep cleaned and taken care of so that it will heal properly. I have 2 grandkids, 1-year-old and 3-year-old. So there's often cases of picking them up from school, dropping them off, just wanting to spend time with them that can be both so amazing and also stressful, because if I'm tired or if Joanne's not well and they want to come over, we want them to come over. We want to see them. But sometimes it's just physically draining. And it's more of an anger at myself for having that frustration than anything else. It's annoyance at myself for having that thought of, I'm just too tired. I've got some health issues as well that I won't go into greatly, but I have been tired lately, and there's been so much going on, and I have a feeling that some of that has rubbed off on the Monday game. And I think overall people have been enjoying the game. I don't think overall it's been a bad game. I think it has been a good game. People have told me they've enjoyed it. But I've also had a lot of comments from one player about another player. And there seems to be a lot of tension between the players. And I think some of it has come from characters changing. At the beginning of the game, the characters had a fairly good camaraderie. But over the course of the game, characters have died. Now, maybe some of them should have, maybe some of them shouldn't have. I don't know. None of them were... Well, I wanted to say none of them were senseless deaths, but actually, two of them did kill themselves when they had no need to. One of them was resurrected, though, so I mean, that kind of balances out. But then he ended up leaving the group anyway, so... yeah. But as new characters have come in, I think in some ways we've been victims of coolness creep, of everyone wanting to play some obscure race or class that is really cool, whether they could actually really find a reason to join them up with the crew or not. I think we've had a very slow creep of... When we started the game, the crew were mainly... They were mainly adventurers out to seek fame and fortune, but also to be good people. And I think as more people came in, maybe we had a very slow creep towards fortune and fame being more important and good being less important. And I'm not saying that it's been some huge thing, but one character moves a little bit, and then the next character moves a little bit more, and then the next character moves a little bit more, until you get to the point that the group kind of seems to have forgotten that they're supposed to be decent people. They've done a lot of things that really are not what decent people would do. And not only that, but we are getting a lot of confrontation within the group. We are getting a lot of people with schemes going on in the background that they're not telling anyone else about. We have a lot of disagreements on how to handle things. An example, a few weeks ago, they were going to meet the Elven Armada, and they weren't sure how things were going to go. Most of them wanted to meet and talk things through peacefully, but a couple of them were sure that if they met the elves, they were just going to get attacked. So one member of the crew decided that without telling most of the crew, he was going to go along the ship and place trap runes in case the elves boarded. And then he did tell a couple people on the crew, and then it ended up getting around, and someone else then decided to go around the ship and spend a day dispelling all of the runes. And in some ways it was comical, but in other ways it just kind of showed that they were not working together. And it's only gotten worse from there. The most recent one is the frost giant, which they encountered last week. They encountered him in Malhavik. He blustered and took a swing at Vorian. He left. He came back shouting. Vorian blew up his dragon, quite literally. He escaped with a magic item. They traced the portal to the demi-elemental plane of ice. They moved on. They went about other things. Then one of them decides, well, let me check back and see where that frost giant is now. They see he's back in Malhavik. They immediately jump to, he's come back for the ship. Now, yes, he did say as he was leaving, you'll pay for this, Rhaegar. He did call out Vorian as a Rhaegar. But immediately they saw he was in Malhavik and thought, well, he's come back to destroy us. He's gonna fight the ship. He must have come back with an army that he can fight us with. We need to just teleport in and just kill him immediately. Just everything we have, as soon as we arrive, just get there, blast him, and kill him. Now, this is going to be somewhat a spoiler for the Monday group. The reason he's back in Malhavik is because the item that he had, that he escaped with, gave him 1 hour in the plane of ice, and then he reappeared floating in space, exactly where you had left him. So he then spent the next day flagging down a ship to get him to the planet, where he's then stranded because you destroyed his mount. Now, is he pissed off? Yes. Does he plan to have vengeance on you? You blew up a dragon in one shot. What the fuck is he going to do about it? And he's realized that. He's pissed. He's blustering. Of course he was going to bluster. He was going to shout something because he's a warrior. When's a warrior not going to vow revenge? Didn't mean he was actually going to accomplish it. And he knew that. He was smart enough to realize he was outclassed. But he's stranded until he can get another way off that planet. So basically, yeah, we had people planning to just teleport in and kill him. We had another faction of the group who decided to actually communicate with him, try to talk things through, and try to smooth things over. But then in the background, we had other people in the group saying, oh, well, if they do this, I'm going to do this. Oh, well, if they do this, I'm going to do this. Oh, if they do that, I'm going to do that. Oh, if they go there, I'm going to follow them. If they do... This isn't just one person that's been saying this. I'll put that out there so that no one in the group thinks I'm singling them out. This isn't just one person. The number of intergroup action contingencies that are going on right now is ludicrous. The number of people that are not telling people things about their characters has gotten out of hand. And there is no group cohesion. And the group is stumbling along with hardly any direction. And I think partially they blame the lack of cohesion on the lack of direction. But just as much, if they had cohesion, they could pick a direction. So it's not one or the other. The issue is both. And I think a lot of the issue is in character, but some of it I think is starting to spill over into out of character. And it's gotten too far. So last night, I ranted and raved a bit and basically said, look, figure out what you're going to do. Sort it out amongst yourselves. Let me know the result. And I might have been out of line saying that. I did kind of, in the middle of it, threaten to just kill them all off. Which I do a lot, so I guess maybe that's not too far out of line. I don't know. I just know that right now I am fed up, and although I'm enjoying where the Monday game is going, I've stopped enjoying the group's interactions. It's gotten out of hand. I don't mind having a foil in a group. A foil being, someone who plays against the group a bit. But when every member of the group is a foil, you don't actually have a group. And it's getting more and more like that's the case. So, yeah, I don't like talking about feelings and shit, so I'm gonna stop now. But, I've said it, so there. If I haven't completely put you off today, like, subscribe, all that stuff. I'll try to find a link to the Orion Akaba video. He talks about why he left Crit Role and what was happening in his life that spiraled out of control, and that he's getting better. And, great. I mean, that is really, truly a great thing. I do miss Tiberius. I know that we won't be getting him back. He is dead now. But it'd be nice to have Orion back. Yeah. Have a great day.